Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here. So good to see you today. We have a tough topic to look at today, but before we get to our topic, I want to just welcome everybody. And I know some of you like to come live, so I like to give you a few minutes up front to be able to come live. And you know what was interesting to me about our topic today is this was in my book, The Found Child. I'm not going to reach for a copy. You know the book I'm talking about. In that book, little Davy explains why he died as a child. And so that came up again. What we're talking about is why do some children suffer with illness, even death? And it's a tough subject, but I find it interesting what Philip has to say about it, and hopefully may ease a heart a bit. We're not going to be able to ease them very easily because for a parent to lose a child is unbelievable in the human world. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll also get an answer from one of my other books, Philip's Book of Answers, or the Master's Book of Answers by Philip. Philip's the master. And as you know, each page is just a wisdom that helps guide our life. I use this book every morning where I just say, Philip, what's your message for me today? And then I open, or I may use it before I go to bed to say, what was that about today? And I get a message and then figure out what that message means. So some of the messages are a bit esoteric. It's not a book to sit down and read from cover to cover. It won't have meaning for you, most likely. I mean, I know some people have told me they did and they gained something. But it's an oracle book. You can do the same thing with any book. This just makes it a little bit easier, a book like this. Hello, Lexi Luna. She says, hi, Diana and Philip. Glad to see you today. Sending lots of love and positive vibes to you and all watching. Thank you. We receive that with gratitude. We send it right back to you as well. And thank you for all who are watching. And before I forget, thanks for the thumbs up. That means a lot. We're going to go ahead and get started with what Philip, my spirit guide, has to say about this question. And with your questions, just put them in the comment section below and we'll get to them. And I also say, if you have private questions or personal questions about your life, just give me a call. My phone number is on the website, which is posted below, or email me. Calling, especially if you're in the US, is the easiest to get a hold of me. International, go ahead, and I just got a $15 bill for calling a client back in Canada just to set an appointment. So if you're international, you can call, but I don't want to do too many $15 phone calls. And that was a short phone call. That was not our session. Our session was over Zoom. So I was kind of surprised to get the $15 extra call on my internet service or on my phone service. Anyway, so I do work internationally. Sometimes the time zones, even in the US, the time zones, sometimes we get confused. But wherever you are, give me a call or email me. And again, if you're in the US, a call is probably the easiest. Well, Juliet, welcome. She says, good afternoon. Greetings to all who are watching. Glad you could join us today, Juliet. Okay, got to pull my hair out. It's getting caught on the chair there. The downside of long hair. The upside is I can wear it up a lot. Okay, here's the tough question. Why do some children suffer with illness, even death? Philip says, you must look deeper than the human experience to understand the answer. As a human, there seems to be no answer. There is only pain. The deeper spiritual answer we will give is not to try to alleviate the pain of a child's suffering. It cannot. Or is it meant to alleviate the pain of a child's death? The answer may ease a bit of the pain, but it may not. Our answer is to offer the highest explanation as asked by the question. The grief of the human heart is emotional. Knowledge does not erase that grief. It does, however, explain the unexplainable. By this we mean the human heart and mind cannot comprehend the suffering of a child. Only the mystery of the Spirit can offer information of value to understanding. Someone recently said to me, a friend recently said to me, that she has to look at things through the spiritual perspective. And we were talking around everything that's going on in our world today. She said that her heart would break. She couldn't handle not looking at things from the spiritual perspective. And I said, I know exactly. I have to do that too, because if I look at them just from the human perspective, my heart would always be breaking. It's not to say we don't look at things from the human perspective. We absolutely do, and take action, but we want to also see both the spiritual and the human. And seeing the spiritual is helpful for me, and I hope for you. Philip goes on to say, this said, we will proceed, saying that only the mystery that this isn't meant for healing. It may not take anyone's pain away or suffering away, but only the mystery of the Spirit can offer information of value to understanding. In spirit world, each soul determines what they will experience in the upcoming human life. To have the planned experiences, soulmates and others are chosen before human birth. If a soul chooses to have an illness as a child, it was a choice made before human birth. It was made in spirit form. The question then becomes, why would a soul choose illness or even death in childhood? To answer this, we must first say that all parties involved are in agreement as to the scenario that will be played out. There are rare exceptions to this, which we will explain first. This is so rare it hardly bears mentioning, but feel we must anyway. We are speaking of when a soul jumps into a body unprepared. This can happen when no soul has yet entered the body, still in formation, or it can happen after human birth of a child or adult, or after human birth if a child or adult finds life too painful and removes themselves from the body before the body shuts down. I found that interesting. Didn't know that. We repeat, this is quite rare, so let us move on. Why would a child as a soul choose to suffer an illness? One of the most common reasons is because they contracted the illness in the last life, which caused the death of that body. The lingering illness energy is still part of the soul's energy, so the illness shows itself again. Interesting. Another reason is simply for the experience. Let us say in a previous life experience, the person was a medical doctor who treated children. To now be the child broadens the understanding. Makes sense. Another reason is in future time. This child will be the one to find a cure. If we remember the soul agreements, we must also see the child is here to help others grow and experience as they are here for the child. Perhaps the child will return to spirit world to get the attention of a parent who is to heal an abandonment issue. I saw that in a, excuse me, I saw that with a woman where she had a stillbirth. And I saw it with someone else who had an abortion. The purpose of it was to recognize their own abandonment issues. Drastic, but we all take on healing. We all don't just, I always say we never read the small print because it would be easier if we did. But it's not easy, but we are healing the world with love, by the way. Philip goes on to say, perhaps in another life, the parent took the life of the child or took the life of the child's parents and now must learn the pain of that action. We do not mean to make this all sound bad in human terms, so let us give you what humans would call good terms. For example, let us say the child and parents have a soul contract for the child to give life to another child by providing human organs. Or let's say the child takes on an illness to help scientific research with a cure by studying the child's body. We have given only a few of the multiple reasons. What is important to know is that all agreed to the experience, and it is always about the heart opening, never closing. This is difficult for the humans to understand, for when humans are in pain, they want to close their hearts, not open them. This is not helpful for anyone. To honor the child as the parents, to honor both the child and the parents, in other words, to honor the child as the parents, and for the child to honor the child, all hearts must stay open. Will this lessen the pain? Perhaps not. That is up to the individuals. What it will do is honor the soul contracts made among all involved. May not heal, may not take away the pain, but what it will do is honor the soul contracts made among all individuals involved. You know, normally I try to write this out with Philip a few days or even just a day ahead of time, but I didn't have time this week and didn't get to it until today. And then I had a bite of lunch. And while I was eating lunch, I was scrolling through my Twitter account. And there are no coincidences, right? Lots of synchronicity. And wouldn't you know, I came upon one of the Twitters or one of the tweets, and it was talking about a man whose infant child died of a particular cancer. It didn't mention that, and it didn't give the person's name either, but it was talking about how he has raised millions toward working toward the cure for this cancer. And I thought, that's what Philip is saying here. That's exactly what he's saying. It's like the parents of the children from Sandy Hook are now working for gun reform, or the children that, well, they're not children anymore, but the young people who were in Parkland who now work so hard for gun control. That's what Philip is saying here. Our hearts must be open for love and use our pain to do good in the world. That's what he means by the open heart. All right, let's see what our message is for this week, shall we? We just kind of flip through, and I'm hearing right. If you heard right, we're in sync intuitively. If you heard left, that's a message you need to pay attention to. And I always read both sides. So right says, the world you see represents your thoughts. As you change your thoughts, so will you change the world. Not just your own private world, but yes, that's how powerful you are. That's how powerful each and every one of us is. The world you see represents your thoughts. As you change your thoughts, so will you change your world. Let's change it for love. And then I love this. If you heard left, to know God better, know yourself better. To know God better, know yourself better. Well, welcome, Judy. She says, great explanation, Philip. I'm sure that will help so many. And she says, hi, Diana. Love, Judy. I hope so, Judy. I'm going to get emotional because this is a really tough subject. And I don't have children of my own other than those with 4 legs. And it's hard enough saying goodbye to someone with 4 legs. I cannot imagine going through the pain of the illness, the serious illness of a child, and the pain of the death of that child. And for those who are able to turn that into a heart opening and help others, bless you, bless you. And I think that's really what Philip is saying here. Those are our soul contracts, not to let the grief overwhelm and destroy you, but to use that grief. It's not going to go away. It may lessen, but to use that grief to help others. That's what our world is about, isn't it? That's what makes our lives better, when we keep our hearts open and help others. I love you all for coming. Thank you for those who could come live. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for your comments below. Again, if you have a question, just put it in the comments below or email it to me and we'll get it in the queue. If you've had a question that I've not addressed, please let me know. Somehow it just got slipped by. So please let me know if I haven't answered your question or if you feel there's more to answering a question. We like to keep the questions a little general for our whole population here. So thank you. Beautifully said. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love that you send to us. And I've got to tell you, Philip, I always, at the end of writing, I always say, thank you, Philip. And years ago, he would say, and for those, he works with others as well. Many who work with me end up working with Philip. And he ends up, started with me, and often with others, he'll say, you're welcome, my child, or thank you, my child. He's been changing that recently. And today I thought was interesting. He said, thank you for being our voice. We are in appreciation. So that's what Philip is saying to all of us. We are in appreciation. And I am deeply in appreciation for each of you. Thank you. Thank you for the love you send to us. And thank you for receiving the love we send out to you. Let's spread it. Until we meet again. See you next week. And next week, I'll also do the predictions for September. My sense, it's going to be an interesting month. That's all I know at this point. See you soon. Love you.